Entering our second season of Blood Time, we want to thank not only our phenomenal and remarkable individuals that were our guests, but also the support, the incredible support that we have had throughout the community, not only locally, but nationally. What you can absolutely put to bed as guaranteed the second season of Blood Time are more remarkable individuals, more transformative stories, and more Blood Time moments. Please give a listen to the second season, for we are all blood. Coach Cimarroni here. Love to all. I want to thank Serve Pro of Beechwood, our newest sponsor, and Jack Coslin, the owner. They serve all of Northeast Ohio, not just Beechwood. They specialize in disaster cleanup that leaves your home or office like new, like it never happened. Flood and water damage, fire, mold, and they say even blood and guts. Not just any Serve Pro. Seek out Serve Pro of Beechwood. That's Serve Pro Beechwood, Shaker Heights, ClevelandHeights.com, 216-464-4498. Operated by a former All-State wrestler from Beechwood. We love Serve Pro of Beechwood. This is Coach Cimarroni for Next Level Continuing Education. Next Level brings unique education to real estate professionals and real estate investors on how to get money effectively and efficiently into real estate investments. Next Level Continuing Education has ditched the traditional continuing education platform. Gone are the days of listening to boring content in a stuffy classroom setting. Come jump on a Zoom call whenever you find it comfortable and learn how to expand your real estate portfolio. Next Level CE brings unique content across Ohio and the Midwest to teach real estate investors how to become their own bank using the infinite banking concept to acquire more properties quickly. So check out Next Level Continuing Education for all your real estate investment needs. Hey, it's Blood Time here, Coach Cimarroni, and this is about 2 years in the making. Well, maybe not 2 years, but we had this gentleman in studio last year with another gentleman who, because of FINRA and some other regulatory agencies, couldn't air the episode. We were both very disappointed about that. But that's all past. That's all history. Today I've got the man, Anthony Lautanen from Mentor High School. How are you, man?
Good.
Anthony
How are you?
Lautanen. What's going on, baby?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. It's great. 2020 is good.
Right? Yeah, right. It's all attitude, right? It's all attitude.
It's all attitude.
How do you take it forward, right?
Yep. It's about how you react. It's about how you adjust to the circumstances and have a positive mindset.
Absolutely. So here we sit, okay? We had interviewed you, Young Guns episode. We're ready to rock and roll last year. We couldn't do it. And that's cool. So we got you back here, season 2. And Anthony, you got an interesting story, man. You were a big dude playing ball back in the day at Mentor, right? For Mitch Trubisky, you were as a center, right? Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, I was center for Mitch at Mentor High. I graduated in 2012.
Okay.
But I was a bigger dude back then.
You were a bigger dude, and then you went and you played center, was it? Or center or guard?
Center at Baldwin Wallace.
At Baldwin Wallace at about what, 260?
260, 265, yeah.
260. Dude, you were just a fragment of your...
I was a tank, man.
You're a fragment of what you used to be, baby. What are you, about $190, $180? What are you?
Yeah, I'm like $190 now.
Okay.
At my lowest, I was like 160 something.
Wow.
But I really couldn't sustain that one for very long.
Yeah, that's a food vacuum, my brother.
Yeah.
Although I live in that now. I'm $135 this morning. So.
You look great.
Oh, God love you. So do you, man. It's great to see you. So we got all this going on with football, but you were also a wrestler, too.
I was.
Okay, talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, wrestling was a big thing for me in middle school and some parts of high school. And after high school, I just decided to focus on football.
Sure.
Just Mentor being, the big-time program that it is.
Right.
Football is a year-round thing. So,
right.
But it did help me develop a lot of skill set, a lot of mindset around different techniques, different strategies that I needed to use.
Sure.
And it helped me with leverage. I was a shorter guy.
Yeah.
So being able to, incorporate wrestling with what I do, what I did in college and in high school at the football level was huge.
Well, they say that I'm pretty sure that this is true, but the last draft, the top 10 offensive linemen, 6 were former either state champs in wrestling or had a lot of wrestling experience because of that.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's all a leverage play in wrestling, right? I
Right.
mean, it's all getting down to the nitty-gritty.
Right. Core.
Working hard.
Right?
Core
Core, your leverage, your angles.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I played center in the Stone Age.
I remember those stories you telling me.
Oh, dude, 1975, 74, 75. I was 155 pound center for Beechwood, okay, at 5'7.5", whatever, right? But I was a piece of iron, man. I was the gunner. I'd snap the ball on the punt, and I would be the gunner. And how crazy it was back then. I was the gunner.
That's insane. You had a cornerback as the gunner, essentially is what it was, right?
Right, it was crazy, right? So, but having said that, it made me a much better lineman.
Oh,
okay, yeah. And it affected me also in other sports too. Maybe a better golfer. I could hit the ball farther because my hips were strong.
Yep.
Better baseball player. I was able to turn that double play. I was a second baseman. I was able to turn that double play better because I just had better core strength, better angles.
Core strength is the most pivotal thing in sports.
Right. So
for sure.
So and you coach now too, right? Are you still coaching, or what's going on with
this year's a little bit different with coronavirus.
Okay.
With business and things going on of that nature, I decided not to go back this year.
Okay.
I have full plans of going back next year. Hopefully, if they'll have me at Menor. Coach Gray's an excellent dude.
Sure.
And shout out to him for having his first kid. So.
Oh, God bless.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, great program, great guys, and they do a lot of cool things. So. That being said, this year was a little bit more tough for me.
Sure.
With everything going on, but I had to pivot a little bit. But I'm still very active in wanting to coach.
Gotcha. Well, listen, I need an assistant coach at Beechwood at Chagrin Falls. You want to step up? Is
this the application right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'm in.
I'm interviewing you.
Yeah, I'm in.
You're in. Fantastic. I got a full contract.
Perfect. Let's sign it. Yeah.
It's signed. So so tell me a little bit about how the football field, that connection you had with your coaches, and some of those coaches who was that blood time moment for you? What coach was that blood time moment? And then what did you do with that blood time moment now in the business world? And obviously,
there's been a lot of great coaches and so many to not name, right? That have been impactful in my life. At the high school level, I'll talk about him first, which is Ness Janiak. He's the quarterback coach at Menor.
Okay.
Pretty much a quarterback guru. Produced a lot of Ohio State. What is it? The winner of the award for Ohio for best player in the.
Oh yeah, Mr.
Ohio. Yeah, Mr. Football. Yeah,
Mr. Football. Yeah.
So he had a lot of Mr. Football guys, but he was just a great guy, math teacher at Menor.
Awesome.
But he was just very encouraging, very motivating, and just actually sat you down and talked to you.
Was there just one conversation that just clicked with you and said, "Man, I can do something a little bit better than I think I can"?
Yeah, he would always come up to me, and he would just talk to me and say, "There's a little thing with coaches, and so they come up to you and they care."
Yeah.
And he's one that came up to me and it's like, "Hey, did you get your math homework done?"
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like little subtle things like that. It wasn't about football. It wasn't about film. It wasn't about those things. It was about like conversations about life.
Right.
And that's what translated to how I coach now, or how I want to coach. And then also in the business world, just having real personal conversations with people.
Yeah.
Knowing more about them, caring about them.
Right.
Understanding where their background is.
Right.
That's huge.
Absolutely. Well, and so this is your high school. Anybody in college that took it to the next level, maybe? Because I had that. I had a great high school coach. And my college coach took it to the next level because he talked to me about expanding it as almost in a business model.
Yep.
He was more like a CEO, my college coach, and it was DeCarlo, who was, Hall of Famer, and I had Coach I, who was a Hall of Famer as well. So
yeah, this guy probably really molded me.
Okay.
His name's Ryan Crow.
Okay. He
came in my, I want to say, sophomore or junior year.
All right.
He comes into the room, offensive line coach at the time.
Right.
He's GA from Ohio State, Florida, all those places.
Oh wow.
Nice background. We're sitting in the meeting room. He introduced himself, and I'm thinking to myself, who the hell is this guy?
Right.
Like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Comes in there like a ton of bricks.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I hate this guy. You know what I mean?
That's the
With
first
the coach?
part of love. That's the first part of love, right?
Yep.
Hate.
And I'm sitting here like, I hate this guy, man.
Yeah.
This guy is like, whoa, way too much for me right now.
All right.
And, then he started talking about himself, and then more importantly, talked about how he wanted to mold us to be better people in society.
Okay.
But also mold us to be better football players.
Great.
And I was thinking to myself, God, this is going to be a long 2 years, or however long he is, right?
Right.
And I say that now because looking back, I mean, he is the best coach I've ever had in my entire life.
Okay.
Just from being really, really hard on us.
Okay.
Demanding a lot out of us because he knew our potential. And then ultimately just making sure that we were good in life.
Right.
Hey, you want to come over for dinner, right?
Right.
Hey, do you want to, let's get together for a lineman cookout, right?
Right.
Always asking us if we need anything.
Sure.
And over time, that first year, I was like, man, I love this guy.
Yeah, right.
I love this guy.
From hate to love.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
cool.
cool.
He would be buying stuff out of pocket. He bought these cuffs. They were like handcuffs, but they were rubber.
Okay.
And they're used for linemen when you go through the chutes.
Gotcha.
Keep your hands tight inside.
Gotcha.
And your
elbows in.
Yep.
Elbows in, yeah.
Kind of like wrestling, right?
Totally like
elbows
wrestling.
In, right?
Elbows in. You're flying elbows. You're getting tanked.
You're getting knocked down, right?
Yep.
So we would have these cuffs on.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay.
We would have a plate outside. We would do kick steps.
Gotcha.
And there would be a 45-pound plate, and we had to punch with the 45-pound plate. Now, mind you, it's about 95 degrees on turf.
Of course.
A metal plate.
Yeah.
This plate's hot as hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're just out there getting after it.
I love it.
And we rushed we averaged like 300 yards rushing that year and the year after.
That's why.
Yep.
And it's interesting what you said about this guy. I love this guy. I don't even know him. But I want to graduate great human beings. Because if you graduate great human beings, great wrestling comes easy. All you got to have is a little bit of talent. Because you got all the underpinnings of great work ethic, dedication, loyalty, stick-to-itiveness, all those things that you need to be a great athlete.
Yep.
And so I love what this guy is saying. What's his name again?
Ryan Crow. So Ryan Crow, yeah.
Okay.
And shout out to Ryan,
Sure.
Coach Crow. He is currently in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nice.
He's on the Tennessee Titans. He's a defensive assistant
Is
over
that
there.
right?
Yeah, with Mike Vrabel. Yep.
Wow. Another wrestler.
Another wrestler.
Yep.
Vrabel's a big wrestler.
Yep.
Big time guy.
Yep.
From around here, actually.
Yeah.
So, now he's at the Titans, and nothing's changed with him.
I love it.
But the thing that inspires me the most about him is you'd see that when you go to the facility, he'd be there for 14 hours a day.
Sure.
Watching film, dissecting it, call me into his office. Hey, we got to talk about this. What are you doing here?
Right.
But the guy just was relentless.
I love that.
And it transformed us. We were 5-5 or whatever we were, and we turned ourselves to 7-3.
Yep.
8-2 the next year. Almost close to a bid for the playoffs.
Sure.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's fantastic. And that's where the rubber really meets the road.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that at every level, the coach is an important aspect of success. I think the only sport at the professional level that the coach has really lost their meaning is at the NBA. I think you got a lot of interesting human beings playing in that league. But you could just see it. Look at Davey Roberts, what he did for the Los Angeles Dodgers. They love him. They just flat. They don't agree with him all the time, but they love him. And so you see that. And I think you and I've had this conversation off air about my nephew Matt Guerreri, who's the DC at Duke. They're having a tough year this year, but Cutcliffe, the head coach, who was the coach for the Manning boys, Peyton Manning at Tennessee, and Eli over at Ole Miss, I believe, where he was at. He was the brains behind those guys, and he's the brains behind Daniel Jones, who's doing whatever he's doing in the New York Giants, right? And he turned around that program. They hadn't been to a bowl game since 1961. In the last 10 years, they've been to 7 different bowl games. So and they're competitive. This year they're a little down, but they're competitive every year. They're always winning. And he says he's the first in and last out, and Matt sometimes sleeps there. But he watched the head coach do that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So this is what you're saying with Crow.
Oh yeah, everybody, the way you lead, in my opinion, is you lead by example.
Yeah.
People will follow your lead.
Right.
100% of the time.
I agree.
Even at Duke, I have a friend, Joe Casper, who's now, he was DB's coach there.
Okay, yeah, sure, Joe.
Yep, and now he is one of the quarterback assistant coaches.
Yeah.
And he's there 10, 15 hours a week.
Absolutely.
Now, the thing with coaches is you have to like the guy, right?
Right.
But you can't, the coach can't make it seem like you like them too much.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Because if they know that you like them too much and you're friendly and you can they can get away with anything they want.
Yep.
So with Crow, it's an intricate balance because it's hard to do. It's like you love the guy and you think that you're really close and you are close, but he's real hard on you.
Gotcha.
And he's real tough on you. He's like, wow, what is this guy doing? Like showing up, late by.
But isn't that a great way to be a father and a parent?
It is.
You see what I'm saying? So that translates because, I take things very seriously. The actual term for a coach or a teacher is locus parentis. It's a Latin term for local parent. That's the responsibility. And so when the kids walk in, first day of practice every year, I say, you're all my sons. And I'm going to treat you like that, but I'm also going to hold you to that high standard. So there's going to be consequences for bad behavior.
Yep.
They're going to be swift, just, and consistent. But you can rely on that from me. You know what I mean? So I think that's what you're saying. But also, too, one of the things that I noticed with you, because I've been in business meetings with you, Anthony, it's very impressive, is you truly want to know about the person sitting across the desk from you, or across the chair from you, or across the table from you. Tell me a little bit about that. Is that intrinsic in yourself as naturally, or have you been coached that way, or have you been raised that way?
I think it's a combination of all three.
Okay.
I think that I have that natural ability just to want to know more people and what their story's about, because everybody's story is different.
Sure.
But I think that from a coaching standpoint, when a coach comes in or somebody's coaching you, the coach has to know your style.
Right.
They have to know how you're coached. Do you react well getting screamed at?
Sure.
Do you react well getting pulled aside and talked to?
Right.
And that's what really, really put me over the edge in the business realm is I was not a guy that I didn't like getting yelled at.
Right.
I didn't react very well to it.
Gotcha.
So Crow, he would always yell initially.
Yep.
I didn't react very well. I got pissed off.
Sure.
And I'll be the first one to admit it.
Right.
But over time, he learned that, hey, the way I talk to Anthony, the way that he performs his best is if he is, brought to the side and talked to.
Okay.
Said, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. You need to fix it.
Gotcha.
So I think that alone that's where that turning point was for me.
It's interesting that you recognize that and you're in your mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wish I had that knowledge or that mentorship in my early 20s because I didn't recognize that probably till I was in my mid-40s. And it was just a dynamic, it was a paradigm shift from the golden rule to the platinum rule. The platinum rule is do unto others as they wish to be done unto, not as I wish to be done unto. Yep. So you're telling me this at a relatively young age that you can take to the rest of the world now and just saying that. So you're listening to people on how they want to be treated. Because, if I'm engaging you, let's say I bring you aboard as my EVP of sales and marketing, and your way of moving through life is to be recognized and have a little bit more balance as opposed to more money, although money is good, money is important. And I'm not listening to that, and I'm just putting together these really aggressive sales things that you can get this dynamic, spiffs at the end of the day and bonuses. And you're like, Cimarroni, you're not listening to me.
Yep.
Same kind of thing which you probably experienced with Crow.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or vice versa, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even with my business partners, they know. It's not about the money with me.
Right.
People, that I first meet, they're like, hey, we do a referral program. It's like, it's something you got to know about me.
Right.
The money will always come.
Well said.
As long as you treat people the right way. And you do well by others.
I love that.
So I tell them that to their face.
Sure.
And I say, hey, I don't need the money.
Right.
I'm going to do what's best for my clientele if it makes sense for them.
Right.
To better them. But also, at the same time, if I do a good enough job, people are going to say, hey, this guy's the real deal.
I love that.
You know what? You should really talk to him because he does good work.
That's beautiful.
And that's what that's how the world works.
Absolutely. Well, I want to come back to that, but we're going to take a break. because we have a sponsor. That's our friend, Connor.
Yes.
And we'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. Thanks. This is Coach Cimarroni for Blood Time. We'll be back with Anthony soon.
Defense Soap at defensesoap.com. In the midst of our current health crisis, we at Blood Time want to thank Guy and Gus Seiko and the team at Defense Soap as a beacon of our protection. Body wipes, skin cleansers, bars of soap, shower gels, and disinfectant tablets. All this and more as Defense Soap is on the front line of our protection. Thanks to the Seiko family and their team at Defense Soap. Check them out for all your protection needs during these precarious times. Defense Soap at defensesoap.com.
Yes, this is Coach Cimarroni for Limo King, one of our newest sponsors, and Connor Mack. We love Connor. He has this company that's the premier party bus company for Cleveland, with over 200 reviews being 5 stars. That's 200 reviews at 5 stars. Holy cow. All of their vehicles are purchased brand new and are custom built. They service nights out, sporting events, concerts, weddings, and many other services. They service all of Northeast Ohio, Akron, and Canton. Feel free to call or text the owner, Connor Mack, directly at 440-221-4474. That's Connor Mack, 440-221-4474. TheLimoKing.com. TheLimoKing.com for all of your party bus needs. And we're back. This is Coach Cimarroni. I'm sitting here with Anthony Lautanen. How you doing, Anthony?
Good, man. Good.
Good. And we're back from the wonderful sponsor, Connor. Connor M, baby.
Oh, yeah. Connor M's my guy.
Yeah.
Love that guy. Thank you so much, Connor, if you're listening to, we appreciate it.
We do.
Thanks for the support.
And use Limo King.
Use Limo King.
Absolutely.
Use Limo King.
For all your limo needs.
Oh, my God. He's got the best lineup ever. I looked at his website.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the best top-notch stuff going on.
And he's just a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great guy. So we won't mention where he works
Yeah.
because who knows,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, who knows?
We don't want to get into trouble. Anyhow, but thanks for coming in again, Anthony. And I love the philosophy that you share with us in the first part of the episode. I want you to expand a little bit about that. So tell me a little bit about what you see in the future for your business career based on the lessons that you learned both in the wrestling room and on the football field. What does that look like for you?
Future business for me is simply just one thing.
Okay.
And this one thing is, I provide a service, right? I do things for others, and
Sure.
I help them. I'm a consultant, so I help them save money in certain areas of their shipping, right?
Yes.
But that's not all I do.
Of course.
And I want to be a valuable resource to my business clientele
Okay.
in any means necessary. So if I have a person that handles, a partner that handles a certain aspect of their business that can help, I'm going to introduce them.
Right.
So I think that moving forward in my business world is going to look a lot like taking care of my own.
Okay.
On really providing the value to them, not just from my end, but from also partners' ends.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And we're also in a very interesting time of life right now. You've got a great attitude. Some people don't have a great attitude about this. Although I've been interviewing a lot of people, and there's some, we're going to get over it. Eventually we're going to be back to normal. We're going to have courage. We're going to have creativity. We're going to have leadership. Tell me your thoughts as a young man, and this is something I've never experienced, and I'm 63. You're going to have this in your back pocket, at 20. What are you, 26?
26, yeah.
Okay, and this is going to be in your back pocket, so you'll have this rest of your life, this experience. What do you see in regards to the society at large that has either surprised you or has encouraged you for your generation?
I think what encourages me, I'll start with encouraging first.
Cool.
Being the positive mindset that I am.
Sure.
Well,
surprise you could be also good or bad.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true.
Okay, so encouraging, yeah.
Yeah, encouraging. I think that the most important aspect for us, encouraging-wise, moving forward, is just the it's 2020.
Yeah.
Middle of a pandemic.
Right.
People have been isolated a little bit.
Sure.
And I think that people can look back and reflect on, wow, what did we do before this?
Oh, well said.
You know, like how did we react and interact with other people before this pandemic?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking in person.
Yeah.
We went to a happy hour.
Right.
We had business meetings in person.
Sure.
And now things have changed to where you have it through Zoom.
Right.
Or online.
Right.
And I think that what's important is I think a lot of people are going to look back and say, wow, we really were fortunate that we were able to do that.
Sure.
And it might sound a little bit, over the top, but it's true.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, oh my, this is really something that benefited us in the business realm.
Right.
And now we have to pivot a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think people are going to be more grateful moving forward.
Once we get back to the situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it also revealed some inefficiencies, right, in our entire existence as business people, but also as people, but particularly in business, where the solution was out there technologically. We just didn't pay attention to it. Case in point, the stock in Zoom.
I wish I would have bought before that.
Right? Yeah, exactly right. Or, simply like the stock in Wayfair, Overstock, or Etsy, or Amazon, or any of these online delivery services and purchasing services have really shown us maybe a better way or a different way. So
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think that before this pandemic, I would always try to go out and meet them in person first.
Gotcha.
I love the social interaction. I love being in front of people. I think I do better in front of people. Body language, all those things come into play.
I couldn't agree with you more, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I think it's more status quo, if you will.
Right.
That Zoom is going to be that new platform for a first meeting. And people are going to be more open to the idea. Because before, a lot of the older generations, they're like, I'm not going on a Zoom call.
Right.
I'll talk to you on the phone.
Right. Right.
If need be.
Sure.
That doesn't show your body language. It just shows your tone of voice.
Right.
Which on the phone, there's techniques that you need to use to be able to project your voice.
I agree with you 100%. And Zoom also brings a little bit of a paranoia to some degree, or self-consciousness when you're looking at yourself talking, which you don't do. Like I'm not looking at myself talking to you right now. Right. I'm looking at you. So I really don't give a shit what I look like. I mean, I do, but I don't. You know what I mean? So that's there too. So there's a difference there. But you said something that was really a great nugget about being thankful, being grateful. And when I go into the wrestling room every year, I said, guys, and if we have a girl, salute, great. I said, you have a choice every moment of your existence to be either the most important moment of your life, important, or meaningless. It's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you should be grateful for this time and enjoy it, even though we're going through some tough stuff here. Wrestling room is kind of like, a wrestling room compared to every other sport. That's the toughest room to be in. So maybe right now our whole nation, the whole world is in a wrestling room. Right. We got to get through this. But we should even embrace the pain, embrace the struggle, right? And enjoy it. Right?
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it, because no change comes from being happy all the time.
Right.
Right?
Or complacent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no change there.
Yeah.
Where change truly comes, in my opinion, is through pain.
Sure.
If you have to struggle for something, you're going to work 20 times harder.
Right.
And you're going to have more in your back pocket to move forward and say, I can handle this, I can navigate this.
I love that.
I
love that. So let me get to the second part of the question. Anything that's surprising you with your generation? Some leadership that's cool or not cool, or victimization, or ass kicking, or anything in between. Because we got the whole gambit, right? Of all different types of leadership.
And this may be me being a millennial. Okay.
Sure.
And this statement may come from that, but I think that my generation, once we move into positions of power within organizations, COOs, people that can make opinions and make changes in a company or organization.
Right, sure.
I think that our generation is going to be more open to change.
Fair enough.
Right. I mean, you've come from that business background a lot longer than I have, and some people are stuck in their ways.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
But I think our generation is always about, hey, if we can improve on something, let's explore this option at least and figure out if this can benefit us.
Yeah, open mind, open heart, right? So I agree with you. Bliss, I couldn't agree with you more. My company is a best practices company, and you're one of my best practices. Yeah. So both as a person and as a service. And so I couldn't agree with you more that we need to constantly look for the best way we can do things and have our eyes and ears and mind and heart open to that. And I think that leadership, if it has to be pushed on us by your generation, so be it. I love it, because we're recognizing on calls that people aren't even knowing what they don't even know. The inefficiencies are so rampant across the board that they don't even know that there's solutions out there. It's crazy, right?
It's so crazy to me, and I'm so passionate about what I do because I can truly help people.
Sure.
And there's a business in mind that, comes to mind actually right on the top of my head is, there's a company that shipped about $500,000 a year.
Wow.
And their business, they were about 90% loss of sales this
Gee
year.
whiz.
So they're really struggling.
Yeah. They
And
could
they're
use
hurting.
some found money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could use found money, right?
Right.
So I'm talking with the COO, and he's like, "Hey, I want to move forward. I want to do this."
Right.
But then the CEO, he said, "I need the CEO's approval." I said,
Right.
"Okay." So the CEO said, "We're going to stay status quo right now."
Okay.
Now, in my head, that means that, hey, this company wants to stay status quo. If you're not in motion,
Yep.
it's not. You're going to lose. You're going to lose your business.
Right.
And that just makes me so passionate. So I emailed, her, and I said, "Hey, there's $100,000 here at the table.
Right.
That could go back into your operating budget and potentially could save you from a pandemic."
Dear God.
And she said, "Well, you have to tag the COO, and you have to,
Yep.
all these things."
Right. It's like just ridiculous to
Yeah.
jump through those hoops, and you want to literally hand them a $100,000
Yes.
check. It's crazy, but that's where ego comes, and also fear, right? Because she may be looked upon now as inefficient,
Mm-hmm.
or incompetent, and so you're dealing with that as well. But well, I like what your answer was. I like that a lot.
Thanks.
And I want to explore one thing before we get to the final question that I want to ask you. But Mitch Trubisky right now, your quarterback combo in high school, is going through an interesting time. Obviously, with Nick Foles now taking his position, but he's an interesting guy.
Interesting guy.
I mean, and I know that he's like what, but he drives like a 10-year-old Toyota or something now. He saves his money. He's completely frugal. Not wanting to be somebody that's got to ever worry about finances. Down the road. But how do you think he's handling this now? Is that fair to ask you?
Yeah, for sure. I think that right now, I mean, first of all, he's the most humble guy now.
That's awesome.
And he has always been the same person I've known since high school. And he'll do anything for you.
That's cool.
He did drive an old Toyota.
That's right.
But right now, I think that he's got the biggest positive attitude about this.
I love it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
I think that when you get replaced or you get benched,
Yeah.
it's a tough moment.
Sure.
But at the same time, you've already gone through those situations.
Yeah.
You've already gone through those struggles.
Yeah.
You've already done this for a long time.
Right.
You can answer now.
Gotcha.
And I'm sure he's thinking to himself, I can answer.
Yeah.
Given the opportunity, I can answer.
Gotcha.
I'll go to practice every day and work my butt off. I'm not going to sit down and not.
Right.
So I guarantee you that he is doing exactly that.
He's a Menor Cardinal, man.
Yeah, Menor Cardinal, baby.
I love it. Well, we wish him the best,
Yep.
because he is so Northeast Ohio guy, man.
Mhm.
Lunchbox guy, just putting in his work, and but it is a bright spotlight in Chicago. It is a bright spotlight. It's a big marketplace there.
Big marketplace, yeah. And if he gets a sport around him,
Yep.
he can do anything and everything.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, we wish him the best, and Anthony, it's been fantastic talking to you today. And during these tough times, these turbulent times, I asked my guest to leave the audience with some words of encouragement or courage through this time of the virus.
Mm-hmm.
I'll turn it over to you for the last word.
So, I am a big David Goggins guy.
Love him,
right?
Yeah.
Former Navy SEAL, went through a lot of trials and tribulations.
All
I
right.
read all of his books.
Okay.
And he always talks about this one aspect.
Okay.
And this one aspect is stop ignoring the bad shit.
Well said.
Acknowledge it.
Yep.
Confront it.
Right.
And what's funny is Coach Opkennorth asked
Okay.
me to talk to his team. He's Oberlin's head coach.
Okay.
And I brought this same concept to them. And they had a losing season last year.
Gotcha.
And I said, hey, I want everybody to put in the chat bar, we sucked.
Gotcha.
Face it.
Right.
And I said, if you guys aren't pissed at me for saying that, there's a problem here. You don't want to be here. Coach O, get him out of here, right?
No doubt, yeah.
And the reason I brought that up is because you have to face it head on. If you try to ignore it, it's always going to be in the back of your head, and you're never going to move forward.
Gotcha. So
that's what I want to leave the audience with today is just look at yourselves in the mirror and acknowledge the shit that's going on in your life.
Right.
Have a name for it, call it out, and then beat it.
Beat it. Love it. Absolutely. Anthony, words of wisdom from the millennial generation. I love it. This is Coach Cimarroni. Thank you for coming in. Love to all. We are all blood. I want to share my thought of the day with you. Question all authority, especially your own. Men, are you looking for that great suit or sports outfit made out of the finest fabrics and made to measure tailoring? J&A Custom Clothing, Tailoring, and Alteration will come to your home or office and give you that fashion statement that you will be known for. Call J&A Custom Clothing and the owner, Joseph Alberstadt, at 216-513-6165. That's J&A Custom Clothing. 216-513-6165. Thank you so much to Wadsworth Youth Wrestling, Coach Wenger, Coach Gramuglia, and Dave Brew. Thank you so much for your support. We want to thank Todd Bauman and American Stone Encounters for your support. Thank you so much. We are all blood.
Hi, this is Lee Kemp. You've just heard an episode of Blood Time. Check out all the episodes at maverickpodcasting.com.